this year WWE has added matches to the Hall of Fame wing. So today we'll be giving 5 matches each that we think should be in the Hall of Fame sometime down the line. Now obviously these aren't the matches I will go in next, but some very good contenders I think down the line are more than deserving of the spot.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what you have. And yeah, ready to get things started?
No, let's do it.
Alright, I'm going to start first with my first match. I'm going to go with kind of an easy one. I'm going to go with Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 26. Now, with 26, they probably will do 25 and 26 together, but I'm going to go 26 because I do think it is the better match. It's probably more iconic because this is Shawn Michaels' last match. I know he did go have that match a few years later, but yeah, this is a fantastic match. It's an iconic match. It ticks all the boxes for them, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And sticking to Shawn Michaels is involved in my first one as well, and that is Triple H versus Shawn Michaels at the 2002 SummerSlam. Obviously, this is that big street fight where you see ladders. You see Shawn Michaels come out in the tank top with the blue jeans and the boots. Just an amazing match between the two. A classic match, a very memorable match, at least from my period of just wrestling and growing up watching wrestling. This was Triple H is one of my favorites and one of the best, and same for Shawn Michaels. Obviously, everyone has him, as one of the best wrestlers of all time, and just a match that deserves it from all the hype around it, even in the nostalgia of it. People still go back and say, no, that match isn't a nostalgia match, it's actually a really good match.
Yeah. I'm going to go up next with my next one, and it is CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank 2011. Now, this is another iconic match. This literally has so much impact on the wrestling landscape of things in that time, and still to this day has implications on what things mean. Obviously the story going into it was amazing. That's kind of the carry of it, but this is such an iconic match for both CM Punk and John Cena. Probably each their best matches in WWE. I think Punk might have a few more better matches, but the story just competes with it. The crowd is absolutely amazing, obviously in the hometown of CM Punk. Yeah, it's just such an iconic match, and I think it has to get to that spot one day.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, John Cena and Punk, their history together just runs deep. So anytime you bring the two together, it's always going to be something very cool for the fans.
Yeah.
But moving on to my next one, we're going to WrestleMania 20 here. And then we're going Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle. Just two of the best of all time, just going in the ring and leaving it all in the ring. We see Eddie get the big win here. Just an amazing match. We love to see just the whole Eddie run, just the story of him like first getting there, and he's getting used, he's doing the race stuff, he's wrestling other WCW people and all that, but he eventually goes all the way up to being the world champion, and that's always going to be a moment I remember seeing him celebrating in the ring, holding that title. Yeah,
it's one of my favorite finishes as well, with him untying the boot a little bit, and then as Kurt gets him in the ankle lock, he slips out, gets the win. Just one of the coolest finishes. I love like a sneaky, smart, thinking finish that always, looks good. And yeah, it's also Eddie Guerrero, one of the best wrestlers of all time. So yeah, can't go wrong with that one. But for my next one, I'm going to go with an NXT match that I think kind of changed women's wrestling for the better down the line, and that is Bayley versus Sasha Banks at NXT Brooklyn, a match that should have main evented the show, that is so iconic and one of their best matches of all time. And yeah, it's just such an iconic match, and there's so much to talk about, but yeah.
Yeah, Bayley is my favorite woman wrestler of all time. I love Bayley. And Sasha Banks, she's, up there as well. I wouldn't say she's necessarily on my favorites list because I kind of missed, the whole Sasha run, and, as it was happening live. But Bayley is still going. She is one of my favorites. Sasha is one of the greatest in-ring women's wrestlers of all time, still going to this day. So yeah, I definitely see why that's on here. I love the match. I love the two of them together, the heel-face dynamic of it. And even just everything Sasha went on to do after, obviously Bayley as well, has been great for the both of them, and they both deserve that. Basically everything that they got today, it comes from this match essentially.
Yeah. But yeah, what you got up next?
So for mine, we're staying at WrestleMania. We're going 2 years ahead from 20 at WrestleMania 22, and that is Edge versus Mick Foley. And obviously they're hardcore. I don't forget what kind of match it even was, like on paper, some sort of street fight or something like that. But yeah, obviously the huge spot that everyone talks about this match is the spear through the ropes onto the flaming table. Just one of the coolest just spots in WrestleMania history, if not maybe the coolest spot in WrestleMania history, as far as just a specific one moment, But yeah, Edge, one of the greatest of all time. Mick Foley, one of the greatest of all time, like up there on my list. But yeah, I love the two of them. They do great work together, and this was an amazing showcase of all the things that they can do.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of keep on topic and kind of talk about yours as well. But yeah, Cactus Jack and Mick Foley, they kind of like when you wrestle them, it's kind of like a defining moment in your career. That's why, for me, I have Triple H versus Cactus Jack at Royal Rumble 2000. And like I mentioned, it's when you wrestle Mick Foley in these hardcore, death matches. Obviously, WWE, those never happen, but they're always very extreme. It gives people the credit, the Randy Ortons, Edges, Triple H's. They get so much respect after battling Mick Foley in these crazy matches, because if you can hang with him, you can kind of do everything. You earn the respect from the boys in the back, I'm sure, and you definitely gain the respect from fans. So, just two iconic matches. Cactus Jack, I think, is so underrated in the hindsight of things, the wrestling, but I love to give him his credit when I can.
Yeah, for sure. They always do great work, as you mentioned. I mean, anytime Mick Foley brings out any of his 4 characters, then it's always going to be awesome. But moving on to 2008, some somewhat more recent match here. We have Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho in their big ladder match at No Mercy 2008. And this is just one of my favorite ladder matches of all time. The big talking point, at least the best point of the match for this one, is the very ending as they're both going for the titles. They're both struggling over fighting it. Shawn Michaels knocks him down. He's hanging over the ladder. He brings him back up, and they're both just kind of fighting to the very end. They're both leaving it all out while they're on the ladder. And you never really see that in ladder matches anymore, where the two people are actually like just fighting on the ladder, and basically whoever does fall off this ladder, the other person is gonna win. It's not just like, oh, I punch you, you punch. They were going back and forth on the ladder, actually doing wrestling moves on the ladder, and it was just a great match. Yeah,
the chemistry that Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels had pretty much throughout the entire career was one of the best. I mean, it's one of each of their best feuds, I would say. I think, and obviously, as a feud itself, it may not be one of their highest, but match quality-wise, I think all of them have, been amazing. Even the WrestleMania match, I believe at, I want to say 20 or maybe 22, something like that. They had the fantastic match there. But yeah, there's always a story as well where Jericho's kind of like the big fan of Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels, is either very gullible and like helps him, or Chris Jericho just turns on him and does something sneaky. It's always great to see between those two. But yeah, for my final one, I'm going with a tag match that's very recent, and that is at WrestleMania 39. We've seen the Night 1 main event between the Usos and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I think this is one of the best tag team matches in WWE history, and I think it's such an iconic moment, seeing two guys like Kevin and Sami finally get the big win at Mania together as best friends. The story was amazing. How they got to be together again was amazing, and the outcome of the match was also amazing.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. Obviously, the Usos are one of those legendary tag teams who they're going to go down in the Hall of Fame as a tag team, as individual stars, and all of that. And the same thing will go with Kevin Owens. They'll probably be inducted as a tag team at some point as well, I could only assume. And obviously separated there even more, well projected to be into the Hall of Fame. So yeah, everyone in this match is amazing. The match was amazing. This was kind of peak tag team titles in a way, at least recent years. But yeah, this was peak tag team titles. I loved what they were doing with these titles at the time, where the Usos were double champions. They were defending versus literally everybody, defeating everybody. They held the titles for over a year. I forget what the amount of time was. But yeah, an amazing run from the Usos, amazing win from Kevin and Sami, and yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And what is your final one?
So for my final one, this is the most recent one I have on my list, and that's Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39. Wanted to sneak a women's match onto here somehow, and this was the one I chose to go with. A very recent match, but it's also one of the best women's rap matches in recent history. So why not add one of the biggest stars right now, Rhea Ripley, versus one of the, maybe a previous one of the biggest stars, but still obviously one of the biggest stars, in Charlotte Flair. They put on an amazing match. It's a revisited match from, they faced each other at Mania 36, I want to say.
I think so. COVID Mania.
Yeah, and so from there, obviously now they're facing each other again at WrestleMania 39. This isn't for the NXT title. This is actually for the Women's World title on the main roster. And it was a star-making moment for Rhea Ripley. And everything that Rhea Ripley's done since then has been fantastic. Great TV. It made her an absolute star. And now she's the top female of the entire WWE's women's division.
Yeah, it was a match that also obviously was on that same night of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, so it's hard to give them the main event, and there was just so much going on. But yeah, that moment to me is probably when Rhea went from a top woman to the biggest woman on that roster. And obviously, like you mentioned, everything that's happened since then, she just became a mega star outside of the wrestling community. And yeah, I think it's such an iconic moment for them. And yeah, I think everything about that match was great. The story after it, the moment of just Rhea winning, Charlotte, looking at the Jumbotron, kind of smiling because even though she lost, it was somebody that I'm guessing she has respect for and kind of, I'm guessing, likes behind the scenes as well. And yeah, just such a cool moment as well.
Yeah, might not get that same respect this year with Tiffany Stratton. But that is going to end our video. That is our 10 WrestleMania matches that should go into the Hall of Fame. We appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.